Hi, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the show. My next guest is Dena Solak with Solak Legal, and she does estate planning and wills for people.
Yes.
And just kind of wanted to bring her in to tie in everything we've been talking about today. And, it's a very important part to protect your home. Again, with the homeowner's insurance, all that stuff's important, but for long term, you definitely need to protect your asset. So, Jennifer, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, thanks, Dena. Yes, my name's Jennifer Solak, and I'm an estate planning and probate attorney. I work primarily in the Houston area, but I can serve clients throughout Texas and Louisiana. And it's so important to come see an estate planning attorney when you buy a home, because what people don't realize is once you're a homeowner, you now have an asset that will absolutely have to go through probate. And so you either need to plan to transfer that asset in the way you want to the people you want, or you need to plan to avoid the probate process if that's what you ultimately want. And we can talk about all the different ways there are to do that.
What should homeowners be aware of?
All right. Well, so what the probate process is the process that the judge uses to find out who your relatives are and who needs to inherit your property if you didn't have a will. And so the way, let's say if you don't have a will, you'll have to go to probate, and your family will have to go to the court and prove to them that you're family. The court hires, you have the family attorney that your family has hired. The court appoints another attorney to look for people that might be related to you that your family's not telling him about. And they all have to go to court and prove they're your family. And then if they can prove they're your family, then the court says, okay, well, Texas says these are the people who get your property. And so if that plan isn't what you want for your family, you can just write a simple will and say, this is who my family is, and this is who should get my house.
Sounds like a much easier process than to
Right.
put your family through all the heartache and trouble of having to go through proving that they're a family, especially after losing a loved one. That's definitely really difficult.
Hard.
So it's really hard. And so I'd imagine that makes
it makes
much easier to plan.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of ways you can plan to avoid the probate process altogether if you'd like. One of the ways is through a revocable living trust. And so, what that looks like is you create this new legal entity, a trust that is created right now. And so then Dena Musfy, as individual owner of her house, would then be transferring her house to Dena Musfy as trustee of the Musfy Living Trust. And then because the trust owns the property and not you, whoever you've named as your successor trustee can automatically act on behalf of the trust to transfer the property to the people that you've named, and you don't even have to go to probate court. So that's a really awesome avenue that people should know about. Texas also has a transfer on death deed, so you can execute this deed while you're alive, saying who you want your property to go to, and also avoids the probate process. Your heirs just need to file something in the probate in the real property records. Boom, probate's avoided. So there's lots of avenues that people can find out about to know what to do with their house.
Yeah, I think that people don't really think about it a lot when they're buying a house. That's not definitely the first thing you think about. And I know myself personally, I didn't think about it until I had a child, which we bought a house several years before we had a child. And I think even writing a will or any of that kind of stuff. So I think people that just buy a house, you should really have a will at any time, just if you own anything, but much less a home, which is a big purchase. You should definitely protect yourself. What advice would you give people as far as contacting you and getting started? What should they know?
Well, it can be as easy or as customized as you'd like it to be. You can contact me through my website is solaklegal.com. My phone number is 713-588-5744. And to begin the process, we'll have you fill out a simple questionnaire, and then we can either hold the conversation via Zoom or we can meet in person. And you sort of educate me as to your family dynamics, and then I can educate you on the law. And together we can find the right plan that you feel is appropriate for your family. And then a few weeks after that, we'll meet, and you can be signing your plan, and you don't have to think about it for a while. And you can just go enjoy your new home.
Yeah, because I know when I did it, there was definitely some questions there that I was kind of like thrown off that I didn't know.
Sure.
I was like, oh, wait, do I want to? What was the one? I got stumbled on. I think it was if I wanted to be buried or cremated. I was like, I don't know if I want to be cremated or buried. I've never really thought about that. It's kind of morbid, but you have to think about those things because you don't want, if anything, God forbid, happened to you, you don't want your family to be left.
Sure, and some families fight over those things. I've talked to other estate planning attorneys, and those have been some of the biggest fights they've had to deal with. And then there was money that nobody really, was, you take this and you take that. But the other thing was the question that really kind of caused a lot of conflict. And when families are already going through a difficult time, you want to sort of avoid the conflict as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what happens if people fail to plan?
So, if they fail to plan, what will happen is they will have to go to probate court, and the Texas plan will go into effect. And so I would say, especially for blended families, typically that plan is not what they would have wanted. A lot of times there are stepchildren who maybe the deceased person really felt as their own child, and maybe they would have wanted to plan for that person, but the law doesn't see it that way. And so sometimes there's a lot of disinherited stepchildren, and that's kind of a sad state of affairs. Or maybe they wanted the surviving spouse to get everything, and when he or she passed, it should go to the children. But Texas law doesn't really see it that way. And so I think especially if you're part of a blended family, it's even more important to make sure that your wishes are put down on paper.
Absolutely. It's a really important, uncomfortable situation sometimes, but it's really important to be sure that you protect yourself and your family, and that your home and everything really kind of is protected.
Well, and you know what I also like to say is that you really need to plan for living as much as dying. And so, another thing that we do are powers of attorney and healthcare directives. And so, maybe you're alive but unable to manage your own affairs. You're incapacitated in some way, and you can't make your own financial, legal, medical decisions. And so you need to designate the right people in your life that are supposed to make those decisions for you. And so the way you can designate somebody to make your financial decisions is through a financial power of attorney. And you can make that effective upon your incapacity, or it can be effective without having to prove your incapacity. You also need a medical power of attorney, which is designating somebody to make healthcare decisions for you if you can't make them yourself. And then another important part of a plan is a physician's directive, and that's sort of your way of telling your physician and your medical agent what your wishes are, regarding medical intervention if you're sort of in an end-of-life situation.
Is that stuff that you have to add extra, or is that stuff that's just kind of already involved in your will when you create it?
At my firm, we include that as part of everybody's comprehensive estate plan, because I really think those are the right mix of documents that you need to protect yourself.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, I know I've done it, and it's great. It's a very easy process. It's not the easiest process to think about, but Jennifer makes it an easy process to accomplish.
Well, thank you.
So I appreciated that very much. So let them know again how they can contact you.
Sure. My website is Solak Legal, SOLAKLEGAL.com. I also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/SolakLegal, LinkedIn.com/SolakLegal, and 713-588-5744.
And one more time, that phone number.
713-588-5744.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you.